the strong urgency of the population control, as Kim Dyson put it, is a bit flown away only to this point. If we put things in education, especially for women and reproductive health, then it will all come good. And I'm so afraid that it will be not enough.
Okay, the urgency of the population control. Yes. Yes? Oh, I've got 4 men. I'm going to talk to the women in a minute. Don't let all your space go. Don't give that microphone away. Hold on to it, please. Yes. Never give a microphone away. Be brief, please.
Well, thank you very much. My name is Petrus Shifotoka. I'm a student here at the ISS, and I'm from Namibia.
Very good.
I was sitting here, and I was quite touched by the statistics that were presented here to us today, in the first presentation, of course. You know, the statistics are speaking the truth. You know, this is the reality on the ground in many of the developing countries, especially in the sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah.
But the challenge here for us is to actually go, like she put it, to actually go behind and find the real people behind this, the statistics. But so the need to fight, to fight violence against women and children cannot be overemphasized further. But with what has been achieved so far, 15 years down the line, my question is it maybe the issue of cooperation? Because to me, this cannot be achieved, you know, by only one institution, like UNFPA, for example. You know, there's more need for cooperation and working together of institutions like, you know, you bring in UNAIDS, UNICEF, community-based organizations, church, you know, religious institutions, and all this. Is it the issue of maybe coordination and cooperation between these institutions that is maybe holding us back in one way or another?
Important point.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
More cooperation. Yes. Yeah, you can just, the microphone can come to you. I'm sure you can.
Michel van Hulten.
Yeah.
In Cairo, I think the interesting thing was the coalition which was fighting against, say, the world. That coalition was the radicals from the Islam world, it was the Vatican, and it were the conservative Republicans from America, from the US. It was a very strange coalition, which nobody on the spot could understand. First, I'm amazed you didn't mention that group at all. You've said something about hot discussions in Cairo, but my question at this moment would be, because we are now a generation ahead of Cairo, we are 15 years later, 15 years of people have never heard of Cairo, and you are still living in Cairo. Is this new generation still seeing this opposition of Vatican, radical Islamists, and conservative Republicans, Christians from North America?
Very clear. What happened to the conservative versus progressive battle? And there's a gentleman, and then I'm really going to take 4 women after that, because otherwise my gender balance goes wrong.
You are fighting for equality.
Absolutely, absolutely, always.
First of all, I want to thank the presenters. The presentations were very good. But I prefer the second one, by the way. So my questions are, can we say women empowerment is related to the aging of population? And then how can we address the fact that the population is getting older?
Can you just explain the first point? How is women's empowerment?
In other words, can we relate women empowerment with the fact that the population is getting older?
If we get more stroppy, we get older?
No, it's just a question. I don't know. That's why
I don't know either. I hope so.
I have any. I have any response. That's why I'm.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good.
And then, sorry. What do you think of the fact that China is getting older before being rich? Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Aging and China. We'll hold on to these. Let me see. Yes. Hi. I don't know whether people should say who they are. I'm not sure what the rules are. That might be useful, mightn't it? Just, it doesn't matter. Just.
Hello, I'm Saskia Wiering. I'm the director of ALETA, the Institute for Women's History, and the professor of gender and sexuality in the University of Amsterdam. And I would like to take on your point, Wendy, when you didn't dare to be provocative, and I'll take it on now. Right, okay. When Cairo was going on, it was at the forefront also of the thinking on women's gender relations. Now it seems as if the Cairo agenda is just being implemented. It's getting delayed. It's getting postponed. It's not getting there. But not only is the implementation lagging behind, and you also said very clearly, it is the political will isn't there, the economic will isn't there, but the thinking isn't there either. Because while we were trying to implement the Cairo agenda, a lot of thinking was going on, and issues of gender became complicated, issues of heteronormativity came up instead of a rights agenda. And where is this thinking going on right now? Is UNFPA engaged in that? Are they working on this kind of issues? Is it being stimulated? Yeah?
Thanks very much. Yeah? No, not you. At the end there. And then I've got two more, and then we'll stop and have a reaction.
Sally Appling from the Australian Embassy. I'm not an academic, so I have a very practical question, which I hope will draw out some discussion about cultural relativity and also appropriate actions international organisations and governments should be taking to protect women's sexual rights. President Karzai recently approved Shiite personal status laws that will apply to 8% of women in Afghanistan, including the very marginalised Hazara population. The EU's assessment is that they contravene the provisions of the Convention on Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women and the Convention on the Rights of the Child. I suspect so that they codify sexual rights for women that are not currently available according to local cultural practices in some Afghan communities. The international community has a small window of opportunity to engage the Afghan government on these new laws. What approach do you think governments and the UN should be taking?
Okay, thanks very much. Women, I'm looking for women. Sorry, sir, next round. You can't help it. Nobody else?
When you need money, you have to give everybody the possibility to say something.
I certainly am giving everyone the possibility. I'm looking at...
Mistake with gender.
No, yes.
I look like a man, but I'm a woman. My God.
Good. Well, as a woman, you may speak. I think, well, let's get some reactions. And I would like to add a challenge of myself. I mean, you're describing, both of you, that Cairo was an exciting moment of thinking, innovative thinking, breaking through on the agenda. There were anti-reactions, so one of the questions has been what happened to the opposition. But what I don't understand is how can all the governments of the world agree to something and you still say there's no economic will and there's no money to implement? That's question one. So what's the logic of that? And the question I'd like to ask also is, there was a lot of women's movement and women's activity at the time who pushed this forward. What's happened to that civil society organizing since? So that's more a power question. And so if you take those in as well, and you start to give try and bring the questions together a bit.
Very good. Okay, yeah, great, lots of different kinds of questions, so it means that we are all engaged, and they go a little bit, in different directions, so it's very good. Now, let me just take a crack at them, but obviously we need to engage in the discussion on the longer term, so, this is just an initial opportunity. Now, maybe on the last issue, and also what some of the others mentioned, that maybe you came away from at least my talk, I don't know about Wendy, will comment on hers, that nothing is being done. Well, that is completely opposite from what I wanted to convey. So let me just put it very squarely there, that a lot has happened after Cairo. It has been implemented. It's been 15 years. 15 to some may sound long, but as Wendy said it very clearly, and I tried to convey, and many of you, I think, also, in your ways also convey, these kinds of transformations take time. They are not dictated to people, and they cannot take over like this. So 15 years is not much. But basically what I wanted to say is there is political commitment, there is resources, and there is action.
And are you
but
satisfied?
Not enough.
Aha.
Not enough.
Okay.
It's not enough.
Okay.
We have an incomplete agenda. We need to complete it.
Okay.
And we are competing for attention in a world where so many crises and so many issues are getting a lot of attention, including issues like HIV/AIDS, which are very legitimate. but people need to be reminded